We looked at certain functions that had parameters associated with them, and how we manipulated those parameters had a direct impact on what we were going to get out, the accuracy of the model that we built. So the internal settings that are learned during training in machine learning allow them to make predictions and generate text. So how do large language machines work? They training, right? So they use deep learning architecture called a transformer, which we've talked about before. This enables them to analyze the relationships between words in a sentence, regardless of their position. So even if you were to create a prompt and mix all the words up, the transformer is going to know what order those words should actually be in. Also, they're trained using unsupervised learning, meaning they learn from raw text without labeled examples. They also predict. So given a sequence of words, the model predicts the most likely next word. This ability scales up to generate full sentences, paragraphs, or even entire articles. So examples of LLMs, well, ChatGPT, BERT from Google, Claude, Gemini, Llama. These are all applications that are written by the large players in the game, right? So BERT is from Google, Gemini is from Google, Llama is from Meta, but they all do the same thing. Text generation, on-the-fly translation, sentiment analysis. So you're looking at, you've got an article that is written by somebody on a movie. Is that sentiment positive, negative, or neutral? Again, code generation, and then chatbots. That's one of the most popular and most widely adapted at this point applications of generative AI. Question answering, tutoring and education. If you want to learn about a particular topic, when I first started studying machine learning, the resources that were provided, the learning materials were very good, but sometimes I had questions that were not answered. And so I would use ChatGPT as my resource library. Tutoring and education, the legal and medical document processing. We always knew that there was a ton of documents that were processed in the legal field, but over the last 20 or 30 years, the number of documents required in the medical field has just blown up. It's exploded. But there are challenges and risks involved in everything, right? So we talked about bias and fairness, right? So depending on who's building the model, it may reflect societal biases in their training data. There's something called hallucinations, and I'll explain them in more detail coming up, but sometimes they make up facts that sound believable but aren't. And then, of course, privacy. They can potentially just regurgitate data from the training set. And then ethics, concerns over misinformation, job automation, and misuse. So I also mentioned generative adversarial networks, or GANs. So a generative adversarial network is a type of neural network architecture where two networks, a generator and a discriminator, compete against each other in a game theoretic type of setup. So how does a generative adversarial network function?